Hello everybody, it's Max McAllister here from Traxxion Dynamics. Here I'm going to talk to you today about front suspension on Honda Goldwing Trikes. So there's obviously several major trike manufacturers, and trikes are a big deal in the Goldwing world. But while they've all developed their own proprietary suspension systems for the back of the Goldwing, nobody's actually done anything at all to address the front of a trike. Now, obviously, there is a completely different style of dynamics used in the suspension when you have a trike. Since the trike doesn't lean over, you physically turn the wheel into a turn. Now, I'll argue that it's even more important that a trike have really good functioning suspension. And the reason is, with the front wheel turning into a turn, and it actually makes a sliding or shearing action as it's turned against the tire. Anything that bumps and upsets the tire will make the trike tend to want to ride straight. It won't keep turning until the tire can settle down and then bite again and then continue its turn. So this can be very unsettling when you're going through sweeping curves and you're going through bumps and stuff, and the trike begins to skip outward into what would effectively be the oncoming lane. So bump compliance and such for trikes is a big deal. The best people have done so far is, jam a big spacer down in the forks, which is literally horrible, or maybe put a pair of fork springs in them, and that's kind of the limit that people have done. We do have our AK-20 action cartridge kit for 2001 to 2017 trikes, but today I wanted to talk about the 2018 plus trikes, because now most of the major manufacturers have one out there. So just like most Honda Goldwings, I've got tons of videos on this topic. The 2018 Goldwing is just incredibly undersprung and sags and drops under its own weight. And Honda's done nothing to fix that all the way through 2020. Don't hold your breath, because they're never going to. But what I wanted to show you is just so you could see it, just how big of a problem it is. Now, obviously, all the trike manufacturers compete to have packages that have a competitive price. So most of them don't want to stack in another $800 shock absorber onto the price of the trike. But of course, as a suspension guy, I'm going to argue that's critically important. And but secondly, I'm going to show you why here with a simple demonstration. Now, remember, they're already soft and undersprung. I've showed videos where the bike basically sits collapsed all the way down onto its last resort, which is the foam bumper. But now in the case of a trike, when you rake the trike out to make it easier to steer and pull the front wheel inches more forward, and then add a tremendous amount of weight to the bike, to the whole unit, the bike sags even further. So the shock works even worse, because now there's more leverage on it than there was before. And so it takes what was already bad and makes it just suck. So I've actually sent shocks to 2 different trike manufacturers years ago. Neither of them have bothered to put them on, and I can't figure out why. So if you are interested in having the best handling trike while your trike is being built, tell them you want to buy a Traxxion Dynamics shock. It's literally one bolt they have to take out. By the time they have the whole tuning fork and everything off of the trike, there is one more bolt. But if you bring it to a shop afterwards, it's going to cost you $500 to have the shock installed. Your trike installer should install a Traxxion Dynamics shock for free. It shouldn't cost you anything but just the shock, because it's one more bolt. So don't let them tell you it's a big problem. It's one more bolt, okay? Now, this is a motor trike, just by coincidence, but they all have the same problem. So here's the trike. I'm showing you it's moving, I don't have it, but I've got a jack under the ground. What I want you to watch is the space here, so you can see just how collapsed this trike is. So the jack has just touched the bike. Now watch this. This is all suspension that's collapsed. The bike does not have any of the suspension available to soak bumps and to function properly. You see this? This is because the shock is a piece of junk. All right, you getting all that? And here we have started to reach top out. There's where the shock tops out. All of that in there, so about half of the distance you see is just the shock is collapsed. I'm gonna let it down so you can see how it is again. Watch this trike just collapse. There's not even a person sitting on it yet. You haven't hit a bump. All this is just wasted, available, good quality potential suspension travel, right? That could be used to soak a bump. But you don't get that with a trike. So I'm gonna encourage you to ask your trike builder to include an upgraded shock that can support the weight of the trike. And again, remember, there's no one sitting on this. So if you got a big rider and a large man and his wife on the trike, this thing's gonna be just totally sitting down on the bottom on the fork, won't soak a single bump at all. So, simple demonstration, but brings it home how important it is to upgrade the shock on a trike. Same thing with forks, exactly the same. My name's Max. If you like this video, please give it the thumbs up. Don't forget to share with your friends who ride trikes, and please subscribe to my channel and I'll keep this cool content coming.